for the young Ukrainian Anna Nashevska. Yunus Gundogdu, the home athlete, gets us underway. First of all, on the rings, he's followed by his teammate Mehmet Kosak. And then Blair Stewart goes for Australia, followed by Igor Radivilov. We've seen him in action already today. Balazs Kiss, Luis Malanda and Robert Kermez. Vladislav Hriko finishes things off for us. So they are your men's rings finalists. The eight best in qualifying made it through to today's final. There's Igor Radivilov, you can see, who's starting a quick practice. He's currently on the apparatus as we speak. That is the start list for the women's floor. Lucia Hribar gets us underway. Nicolette Shilagi, Angus Yildiz. All three have already competed today. Ida Baryshnikova of Kazakhstan, a new face, as is Ayana Krupa of Ukraine. Yunus Gundogdu is first up. A huge round of applause, as you'd expect from the home crowd for their athlete, who gets us underway in the rings competition. He was fourth in qualifying. He's what you might call a fringe member of the Turkish team. He was at the World University Games in Chengdu, the first time he'd actually been part of the Turkish national team for a while. Generally doesn't necessarily make the first team, but he's a very useful member of the squad. That was Lucia Hribar on the floor First athlete to go on the floor, and that is the first athlete to go on the rings, Yunus Gundogdu, who scores a 14.000. He certainly deserves credit. He's worked very hard for a very long time. He got silver in this event in Mersin in 2019. It's his first time back in Mersin since then. He's followed by his teammate, Mehmet Kosak. He was the third best in qualification, Kosak. He's a great new gymnast who's coming through for Turkey. And Turkey has a great recent history of success on rings. Ibrahim Çolak won the world title in 2019. That was their first ever artistic gymnastic title, championship title. This athlete Kosak was in Çolak's shadow for a very long time. Çolak is still around, but he's had some injuries, and could be a good and a bad thing to be learning from the world's best, of course, but then he's not had that many chances to compete. Kosak is now a crucial part of every Turkish men's team. Look how pleased he is with that routine. Huge cheer from the crowd and from himself upon dismount. And that's a great start from the two Turkish gymnasts. Big hug too from the coaches. They liked what they saw. Nicolette Shilagi of Hungary. Again, we've just seen her competing on the beam. She's now made her way over to the floor. Nicolette Shilagi, ready to go. A really lovely performance from Nicolette Shilagi. Real mix of elegance and power. Mehmet Kosak, 14.450. puts him in the lead, ahead of his teammate Yanis Kondogdu. Nikita Simonov. He was the top gymnast in qualifying. He's a ring specialist from Azerbaijan. He's excellent on this apparatus. He's got good difficulty rating, 6.2, and really clean execution. He is the overwhelming favourite for this event. He took the gold medal at his home World Cup in Baku earlier in the spring. Look how well he's holding his position. A very solid performance indeed from Nikita Simonov of Azerbaijan. Top in qualifying. Can he get to the top in this final? A 12.4 for Nicolet Gilagi of Hungary. Same score as Lucia. So those two gymnasts tied as things stand. Now this is our third athlete to compete on the floor. Bengisu Yildiz of Turkey. Well, that was a really dynamic, lively performance from the Turkish gymnast Bengisu Yildiz. Great reaction from the crowd. She had them clapping along as she competed that routine. A 14.9 for Nikita Simonov puts him into top spot after 3 gymnasts have gone. It will be Igor Radivilov who's next up, the Ukrainian. He has got so many medals on rings. He was second best in qualification. His execution score was quite low compared to Simonov, 8.35 versus 8.9. Perhaps it was a bit of a nervy qualification. He certainly has the capacity to get a medal in this event, perhaps even win it. 14.9 is the score to beat. Lower than the 15.1, which was Simonov's qualification score. A nice tidy landing stuck his dismount. Is that enough to beat Simonov? 12.833. Bengasi Yildiz gets herself into the top spot as things stand. That would mean so much for this home crowd. That was Ida Barisanova, 25-year-old, the 2021 Islamic Solidarity Games champion on floor. She is a floor specialist. She does look a little disappointed with herself. There was that landing partway through that floor routine where she fell forward onto her knees, didn't stick the landing, and she'll have been disappointed with that slight hiccup in the middle of that routine. There it is. You can see she falls forward onto her hands. That is the halfway point of both the floor and the rings exercises. Next up on rings, after this brief warm-up, will be Balázs Kiss of Hungary. We've already seen him competing today. He'll be followed by Luis Nylander of Sweden, Robert Kemers of Finland, and Vladislav Hriko of Ukraine. That's how things stand so far on the floor. Bengasi Yildiz, delight for the home crowd. Their athlete is in top spot, followed by Lucia Fribar and Nicolette Shilagi, who both scored a 12.4. Nikita Simonov currently top spot in the rings. Igor Radivilov, we've just seen him. He's got himself into third position. Not enough to challenge Simonov, who's at the top. 14.2, so a bronze for Radivilov as things stand. But of course, things could all change. There are still 4 more athletes to go. A disappointment for Ida Barisanova. Shakes her head. She knows she could have done better, should have done better. This is the only final she's competing in, the floor final. Another familiar face. It's Evgika Solo, who is going to get us underway again on the floor. A teammate, Bengasi Yildiz, is currently on top spot at the minute. Can she join her on the podium? Balázs goes for Hungary next. 6th best in qualification. He actually won a bronze in the senior team event in the 2020 European Championships in Mersin, incidentally. He's only just turned 24. Again, very tidy from Balázs, as we expect from the Hungarian gymnasts. Always very tidy, very considered. It's a nice performance from Kiss. I'm also hoping for a nice performance is this athlete, Sevgi Kaysolu of Turkey. Well, you could hear the home crowd cheering throughout that routine, clapping along, really enjoying it. Both Turkish athletes actually have produced really dynamic, upbeat, high energy floor routines. Real crowd pleasers, in fact. Well, Balázs perhaps would have been expecting a better score than 13.150. Nevertheless, he gets... Well, he's not... he's lower than he got in qualification, so I'm sure he'll be pretty disappointed. This is Sweden's Louis Melander. Just 18 years of age still. From Copenhagen in Sweden. His first time competing in Mersin. First time he's made a final across a World Cup or a World Challenge Cup, so big achievement for the young Swedish athlete. Finished 5th strongest qualifier. Still to come, we have Robert Kemers of Finland, and Vladislav Kriko of Ukraine. So 6 gymnasts have competed 2 more to go, and as things stand, it is Nikita Simonov, who was the overwhelming favourite coming into this rings competition, who occupies the top spot as things stand. Still to come on the women's floor. We have 3 athletes still to compete. Yes, Sanghan Mai Liu will be next. Chinese Taipei, we've just seen her on the beam. Well, that was another look there at Sevgi Solo's floor routine as she awaits the judge's verdict. Will she be joining her teammate, her compatriot Bengisu Yildiz on that podium? She does. In fact, she takes top spot from Yildiz. It was Yildiz who was in the gold medal position, 12.833, and now Sevgi Solo has knocked her teammate off the top spot, and she is now the one to beat. She is in that gold medal position. Very elegant and considered floor routine for Hyang Sang-han Mailu. 13.4 for Luis Malanda. Not enough for a spot on the podium. But nevertheless, great learning experience for the teenager from Sweden. And this is Robert Kermes of Finland. Already seen him in action today. We've also seen his brother Oscar, who picked up a medal earlier on. I'm sure they're a great support to one another. Kermes actually posted on Instagram that he'd done his rings qualification. He made some mistakes in qualifying, but he didn't break his foot, so that's a positive. Pleased that he got himself into a final. Posted a picture with himself and his brother and said it's a family thing. His dad there too. And he also posted a picture of himself by a pool saying some well-needed recovery time before tomorrow's final. So looks like he's having a really lovely time in Mersin. Some good quality time with the family. Well, didn't stick the landing, stepped off the mat. But judging by his social media posts, he's delighted to have made the rings final. Delighted to be in Mersin with his brother too, which is lovely to see. Back to the floor. Nazanin Temirova of Azerbaijan. Next up. Another look at Robert Kermes then. The penultimate athlete to go on rings. We are just awaiting Nazanin Temirova, who is the penultimate gymnast to go on floor. She's a young athlete. She's a reasonably new addition to World Cup finals. It's great to see the next generation of youngsters coming through and getting this kind of experience. .133 puts her ahead of Ida Borisanova, who's currently last. A very assured performance there from the young Azerbaijan gymnast. 13.3 for Robert Kermes. Thumbs up and a wave. He's not too disappointed with that. Not enough for a podium spot, but that big step on landing did cost him. That is not Nazanin Temirova. We've just seen her. This is our last athlete to go on rings. Vladislav Hireko. He's a big part of the Ukrainian team. He's 26 years of age. In February of 2021 he underwent surgery to repair his ACL and lateral meniscus in his right knee. Had a back injury in 2019 that meant he missed the European Championships in Poland. He's had his fair share of bad luck with injuries. He does want to compete in the Paris Olympics next year. He was 8th best in qualification. Plenty of support anyway for the Ukrainian gymnast. And our last gymnast on floor is also a Ukrainian. This is Ilyana Krypa. She is 16 years of age. She comes from Lviv. She is part of the senior roster on the Ukraine women's national team. Krypa just waiting patiently until the results are awarded for Nanazin Timarova. And then she will get underway with her floor routine. This is the only final she's appearing in Mersin. .12.2 for Nanazin Timarova. Not enough to get her on the podium. It's still Sevgi Kayasolo who is streets ahead of the rest with a 13.8. Well, she had some absolutely lovely tumbling passes in that routine. Such an elegant gymnast. But just unfortunately was let down there on a couple of her landings that she didn't quite stick. 13.050 for Hariko of Ukraine. So it is Nikita Simonov who is head and shoulders above the rest. 14.9 for him. He takes the gold in the men's rings. Here it is Ilyana Krypa's score then, 11.6 for the young Ukrainian gymnast. Of course it was Nikita Simonov, the overwhelming pre-final favourite, who triumphed. 14.9 he scored in the rings final. As the bronze medalist Igor Radivilov. His bag is going to be an awful lot heavier going home today than it was when he arrived. A couple of medals for his troubles, and the cheers go up for Mehmet Kovac, silver medalist from the home nation. there is the champion Nikita Simonov taking home the gold. Well, there seems to be some confusion as to which way the gymnasts need to face for the national anthem. Figured it out now. Confirmation of the results for the rings. Gold goes to Azerbaijan, Nikita Simonov, the overwhelming favourite heading into this final. Mehmet Kosak for Turkey, and Ukraine's Igor Radivolov taking silver and bronze respectively. Well, high fives from the Turkish gymnast, the silver medalist. For the women who are waiting to collect theirs, Mehmet Kovac, great sportsman. High fives, the women who are waiting to collect their floor medals. It's lovely to see that kind of camaraderie and respect within the ranks. And what a great day for the home nation. 2 more medals for the Turkish gymnasts. What did they do well? They both had really dynamic, upbeat, exciting routines. The crowd were cheering, they were clapping along, they were on their feet. I really enjoyed those performances. Here come the medals. Sergei Gayasolo taking gold. Dengisi Yildiz takes the silver. And the bronze goes to Lucia Hribar. And Hribar, she made up for earlier disappointment when she came off the bar. In the earlier final, she put that behind her and she managed to put in an absolutely fantastic performance to take bronze on the floor. Well, that was certainly a popular one for the crowd. We get to cheer on their home athletes once again. What a successful day for the home nation in Mersin.